today I want to talk to you guys about quarterbacks in what is now going to be a long series on this channel where I'm going to go through position by position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and going over all the players that are there, what kind of season they may have. Maybe I'll go over some stats, contract situations, just overall storylines you guys should keep a hold of. Situations like that, and we are starting at the most important position, the quarterback position. So right now, at the quarterback position, the Buccaneers have obviously Jameis Winston, who is entering now his 4th year. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is currently labeled as the backup. You have Ryan Griffin, who is labeled as the 3rd-string quarterback. And you also have quarterbacks Austin Allen and Riley Ferguson. We're going to start with Austin Allen and Riley Ferguson. Their main storyline is going to be, can they, 1, get into preseason and training camp, and then 2, can they fight with Ryan Griffin for that 3rd quarterback spot? The Buccaneers do carry 3 quarterbacks usually, if they figure that the 3rd quarterback can be valuable enough to the point where you will carry 3 of them. That you won't always play 3, but you'll have 3 on your roster. So right now, Austin Allen and Riley Ferguson are trying to get on this team, and they're trying to compete with Ryan Griffin for snaps in the preseason and just overall making the team. Now, Ryan Griffin, he's had a couple of years in this system. He came over from the New Orleans Saints off of their practice squad, I believe. Same with, we actually let Cameron Brate leave. He signed with the Saints on their practice squad, and then we brought him back. So him and Ryan Griffin kind of have that similarity going for themselves. But obviously, like I said, Ryan Griffin has a couple of years in this system, and the coaching staff does like him a lot. I know some Bucs fans like him to a certain degree. I have never been particularly super impressed by him, but I do respect the fact that he has been on this team for a while. I think he does know the offense very well, and that's very valuable. If there was ever a situation where Jameis Winston and Fitzpatrick were to go down, I would probably trust Ryan Griffin over any free agent quarterback at this point, considering the fact that in a pinch is what I'm saying, because I wouldn't want to have to bring in a quarterback and then teach them a brand new offensive system and then have them play. I'd rather have Ryan Griffin there, who already knows the system. So yeah, it's going to be rough for these 2 guys, Austin Allen and Riley Ferguson, to compete with Ryan Griffin, in my opinion. Right now, he has the edge. And speaking of Griffin, his main storyline is going to be, can he continue to fight off competition? I know last year he had a quarterback from Hawaii, I believe, that he fought off pretty easily enough. And he's been on the team for a couple of years. A lot of fans view him as a future backup for the team. I kind of agree with that. I think if Ryan Fitzpatrick does end up not playing next season, I think we do keep Ryan Griffin at an affordable contract, and he can slide into that backup role relatively seamlessly. We won't have to pay him too much money. And then moving on now to Ryan Fitzpatrick. So there's going to be a lot of things going on with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He played last year, and he was 2-1 as a starter for us when Jameis Winston went down with an injury. We will get to all that later. So the main thing that you want from Ryan Fitzpatrick as your backup quarterback is, can he lead the team if he needs to, and will he need to play? Obviously, we'll see how he plays in the preseason. I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick's a bad quarterback. I think he's a very serviceable quarterback, and he can obviously win games. He won 2 of the 5 games the Bucs had last year. It's pretty impressive. So, and he's had tons of starting quarterback experience, so he knows what he's doing. He's a very smart guy. He went to Harvard, you know. So I have a lot of confidence in Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup. I think he's pretty decent. He's a very serviceable guy, like I said, and I think he'll be fine. The main thing with this whole Ryan Fitzpatrick situation is, if Jameis Winston gets suspended for the Uber incident, I honestly don't know what to think about that. But if Jameis Winston does get suspended, how long will it be, and will Ryan Fitzpatrick be able to step in and be a productive starter? Will he lead the Bucs to at least a 2-2 record? That's probably what you're hoping for out of a backup quarterback, is to at least lead you to a 500. If Winston gets suspended for, say, the first month of the year, for the first month of the season, so he misses 4 games, I'm pretty confident saying Ryan Griffin, it'd be rough for Fitzpatrick. Sorry, it'd be rough for Fitzpatrick, because you go in and you're playing the Saints away, and then you have 2 home games against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Pittsburgh Steelers in prime time. So that's a pretty rough schedule, especially for a backup quarterback who probably isn't expecting to be the game ready guy. You know, he's not expecting it. He's just kind of waiting. He's just kind of there in case of an emergency. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick knows that that is a possibility. I think the coaching staff also knows that's a possibility. They've really dragged on that investigation. So whatever the outcome is, I feel like they are going to be prepared for it. And I'm fine with Ryan Fitzpatrick leading our team for a month if he has to. I think he would do fine. I think he would do fine with Ryan Griffin as the backup. You know, it is what it is. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be getting a better backup quarterback out there in free agency right now, especially considering that you'd have to teach him the offense again and just for the needs. Maybe Colin Kaepernick, if you want to go that route, would be able to come in and learn the offense and be a productive backup. But I don't know. I mean, he might ask for a little bit more money. I know he values himself as a starter, so he might ask for starter money. Honestly, he might take up backup money too, but right now as it stands, besides Colin Kaepernick, I can't really think of a quarterback who'd be able to slide in and be a productive backup. So I'm fine with Fitzpatrick and Ryan Griffin as being kind of a dual-ish backup type thing right now. And then finally, we're going to move on to Jameis Winston. So the big guy, the big name, the big quarterback, our franchise guy, my franchise guy, your franchise guy. You know, a lot of people thought last year that that was going to be his big jump, and he did all right with what he was given. 3,500 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That's missing 4 games of the year. Not bad numbers in my opinion. Obviously, the interceptions were down. The touchdown interception ratio isn't super where you want it to be, but I still thought he did fine. And if Jameis Winston returns to at least his 2016 version, he'll be fine. Yes, his interceptions were up. He did have 18 interceptions, but 4,090 passing yards and 28 touchdowns. That's pretty good. So if you can get those kind of numbers and put down the interceptions, I think that's a pretty good year four jump for me. We did pick up his option, so he will be making $20 million in 2015. And then that kind of begs the question is, what kind of new contract are you expecting to get from Jameis Winston? Will he sign this new contract after this upcoming season? My guess is yes. I think we will sign Quan Alexander, we'll sign Donovan Smith, we'll sign Ali Marpet. You know, we'll get all that work done this next upcoming off season. But if I had to pick a contract for Jameis Winston, I'd probably say he'd get around $25 million a season. Obviously, he hasn't put up the kind of numbers where you're getting Kirk Cousins level of money, and no, most quarterbacks shouldn't get that kind of money, but I kind of feel comfortable with the 20 to 25 million range for Jameis. I know that's a lot of money, but Jameis Winston is the closest thing that we've had to a franchise quarterback in a long time. So all in all, like, that's kind of the contract I would expect. And I think year 4, you know, every year we talk about this. Every year we talk about, when is Jameis Winston going to make his jump? Is it year 2? Kind of was. Is it year 3 when he finally cuts down on all the turnovers? He got injured, so mulligan on that one. Year 4 is year 4 the year that Jameis Winston finally goes ahead and makes the jump. He's got a lot of talent around him. He doesn't have a very worn down, admittedly very sluggish Doug Martin anymore. That last year was really bad for Doug. I wish him nothing but the best in Oakland. He has a new running back in Ronald Jones, very new, speedy guy, young, fresh set of legs. I like that a lot. You've also got Chris Godwin coming back, Deshaun Jackson coming back, who you supposedly worked on chemistry with a lot. I expect big things from Deshaun Jackson then. And you also have Mike Evans coming back, who just got a monster contract. I expect him to do good. After that, your wide receivers are Adam Humphries and Justin Watson, 2 very underrated. I think Adam Humphries is underrated. I think he'll do very well. And Justin Watson, he's kind of a new guy, but if he's anywhere near what the experts said that he should be, as well as his just overall size and speed and whatnot, then he should be very productive as well. Then at the tight end position, you have Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard. We all know that they're very good. And then at the offensive line, you have Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet next to him, which should help Donovan Smith. You have a top 10 center last year in Ryan Jensen. At right guard, it's a little bit trickier. You're going to play J.R. Sweezer. You're going to play Alex Kappa. And then at right tackle, you're going to have DeMar Dodson once he's fully healthy. And when you don't have DeMar Dodson, you're going to have Caleb Benenoch, which still isn't that bad in my opinion. So all in all, I think Jameis has the tools around him to... He had the tools around him last year. He was just really dealing with injuries. I think that the team didn't let on it as much to that injury really bothering Jameis. I think it bothered him more than he let on to a certain degree. I think it messed up his throwing as well because it was on his throwing shoulder. So I think it did hinder his play a lot more than just missing 4 games. I think that he was out. I think that he was really struggling last year with certain things because of his arm being injured. So in terms of stats, just overall stat predictions, if I had to give some level of stat prediction, I would say Jameis is probably going to get 3,800 or 3,900 yards. Not crazy, but not very bad either. I don't think he's going to hit 4,000 yards. He doesn't need to either. I think that he can still be very productive. I think he'll have probably 28 to 30 touchdowns. This might be his best year for touchdowns. If he reaches that 2016 form again where he had at least 28, then that's really good in my opinion. That's not bad at all. Ideally, you probably want him to have around 28 to 30. And then interceptions, I'm going to mark him down for 11 to 12. I think he will cut down on the interceptions, so I'll put him down as 11 to 12. He's definitely going to have more time too. I know what Jameis does. He forces passes sometimes, and he really likes threading that needle and taking risks. But I think he is going to play it more safer this year and just really take his time and just overall not take as many, maybe not take as many really risky chances. And that should figure to cut down on the interceptions. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all your quarterbacks. You have Austin Allen, Riley Ferguson, who are going to compete with Ryan Griffin for that 3rd quarterback spot, so definitely watch out for that during training camp these next couple of months as well as preseason. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is kind of going to be set in as our backup quarterback. He pretty much is. The story with him is going to be, will he have to play if Jameis Winston gets suspended for the Uber incident? How long would Jameis Winston get suspended for? If he doesn't get suspended at all, that's honestly going to be the best case scenario. And do you trust Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup quarterback? Were you impressed by the fact that he went 2-1 last year? Do you think if he did have to play, he would be able to win us some games with all the current offensive roster that we have around him? And then with Jameis Winston, do you think year 4 is going to be the year when he stays fully healthy and he makes that really big jump and gets around 28 to 30 interceptions, 3,800 to 3,900 passing yards like he did in 2016, and then he'll cut down on those turnovers, maybe 11 to 12 interceptions, and maybe only a couple of fumbles? And what kind of contract is he going to get? He's going to be making $20 million after this upcoming season, and so for his 5th year, he'll be making $20 million. Do you think he's going to get 20 or to $25 million? You think he's going to get maybe a little bit less since the play hasn't been that there? I know quarterback is a position where you just have to pay for if you have a franchise guy. Do you think he's going to get Kirk Cousins levels of money? Just let me know all these types of predictions. What kind of stats do you think Jameis Winston's going to get? Again, let me know about this down in the comment section below. What do you think year 4 is going to be Jameis's jump year? What kind of contract do you expect him to get? What kind of stats do you expect Jameis to get? And then for Fitzpatrick and Ryan Griffin, do you trust Ryan Fitzpatrick to play if Jameis Winston can't go because of the Uber situation? Whatever happens with that. Were you impressed last year by Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup quarterback? Do you think we should bring in somebody else to be a backup quarterback? And then for Ryan Griffin, do you think he can fight off Austin Allen and Riley Ferguson in the training camp and in the preseason? Let me know all of this down in the comments section below, and thank you guys so much for watching. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We are currently at around 1,000. We're a little bit over 1,300, and I can't thank you guys enough. This past draft week was huge for my channel. I ended up gaining probably around almost 200 subscribers, and it's all because you guys. I like the team that we've built here. You guys are some pretty star players for me, so thank you so much for watching, as always. And again, if you're new, go ahead and subscribe, and if you're returning, go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video, but until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.